Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm actually really excited about this episode because we get to finish the Ferrari cosmetically today. So we spent a long time working on the Mercedes, lots of maintenance videos fixing it. We got the paint up to spec, it's ceramic coat. Everything is done on that except for the wheels. Now we get to turn our attention to the Ferrari. So in this video, we're gonna get to see everything kind of from start to finish. We're gonna peel off the PPF, do a paint correction, ceramic coat it, and then we're gonna lower it, align it, and put on the wheels I got from CCO Performance. So anyway, check it out, guys. So I'm out here in the shop playing Russian roulette with the 430. And I say that because the first step in perfecting the paint is going to be removing this old clear bra. So I'm removing it for two main reasons. One, it's one of those older films that has the orange peel texture, and I really don't like that. I like perfect, smooth paint, and it just didn't match. I live in an area of Florida where there's almost no risk of rock chips, so I'm really not worried about having the film on the car. The other main reason is I don't know how old this film is. And so at some point, these films like to kind of bond with the paint. And even with 100% factory paint like my car has, it's still a risk, and 430s tend not to do so well with PPF removal. So we got to be careful. We got to use a good method. And here, let me show you how I do it. So obviously what you want to avoid is pulling your paint off. So there are two preferred methods. One is to pull completely flat this way. But what you're going to find is it still puts a lot of stress on the paint and it leaves a lot of adhesive behind. The best way is to actually pull away from it. So what's going to happen here is as we pull away, it stretches almost like 3M foam tape or those little stickers that you know, you can remove from walls. It stretches and it keeps all the adhesive there. This is a factory piece of clear bra here. There's a piece here as well. And then over here you have clear bra here. So as you can see, these pieces are pretty well spent, and I'm pretty sure that these are going to be the tricky ones to get off. Ferrari sells the high wear kit. I bought this from Eurosparos, and these are the replacement pieces that go behind the wheel. So that is what we're going to do. We're also going to buff the car and ceramic coat it. All right, just kind of a quick update. And I just want to show you what it looks like when you do the pull method. So over here, you can see there's some adhesive here. There's a couple spots of adhesive here, but for the most part, almost all of this is adhesive free. We got a couple small spots here, and then actually I got this whole piece in one pull, and I don't think it left any adhesive except for the line. So how do you get rid of the adhesive? So what you're gonna need is to get one of these 3M adhesive removers. And these are supposed to be safe for paint. Basically, it is a sacrificial eraser. And when you put it on here, it literally erases the stuff. And so now there might be just the tiniest residue, and that stuff we can get with a Goo Gone. We only have to do that in a couple spots, and then it's done. So now I've got the aftermarket clear bra removed. I'm gonna move on to the factory part. So these are the high wear things. There's some behind the front wheels, the rear wheels, and some of the vents, and we're just going to peel these off. Luckily, these guys are actually really easy to peel off. I'm just going to warm it up a little bit to get it started. So even though that these have been on there since the car was new, so 15 years old, the adhesion I found is not very good on these, so it makes them pretty easy to peel off. Again, I'm going to use the same technique. So what I'm doing is just kind of, it's pulling away. Just gonna warm them up just a little bit, nothing crazy, and that'll help me get it started, and then we'll kind of do the pull away. All right, now so we got the paint correction complete. The car looks amazing. It's ready for ceramic coat. As you can hear, it is absolutely dumping outside. So you guys are gonna get a special treat in this video. We're gonna be installing wheels and aligning the car and lowering the car all without me talking, at least while it's raining. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. (2014). Look at this crap. Don't use old tires. So lowering the 430 is actually pretty easy. These things sit on 4 adjustable coilovers from the factory. To get to the coilovers, really all you need to do is use the 10mm to undo the upper control arm and the tie rod. Once those are out of the way, I use a spring compressor to take the tension off of the spring, and that makes it easy to spin the perch to get the right ride height. Definitely not looking to slam it. I just want to adjust it to a level closer to what the challenge car comes from the factory, because that's kind of what I believe is the ideal setting that these cars were designed for, as long as your roads accommodate it. Now to actually do the alignment, I got my Toholson Automotive alignment plates and then a bunch of 430 alignment shims, all from my buddy at Euro Spares. Now we've used our Toholson Automotive to get the alignment within spec. All right guys, the 430 is done and I am very, very excited. I think it looks perfect. Of course, it's all subjective. That's what wheels are. But for me, I had to get it to where I love the car. I was not in love with the car with the stock wheels at that 4x4 factory ride height or whatever. So now it is lowered to roughly what a challenge car would be lowered to, which I think is what these cars were originally designed for. So the ride height is set. We got the new wheels on there, and we'll talk about the offsets here a lot because I get a lot of questions about the offset I picked for these. And then on top of that, we peeled off that old aging clear bra before it became an issue with the paint, because the last thing I wanted to have that do is have it, you know, become part of my paint. And so it is off. The car has been completely buffed over and ceramic coated. So real quick, let's talk about offsets. So what I do when I pick offsets, I pick these actually myself because I wanted to be able to install these wheels and not have any issues with rubbing. I didn't want to have to cut, and I didn't want to have to roll the fenders at all. So cool thing is Ferrari already rolled the front fenders before they painted the car. So the front gives you a lot of extra room. The rear on these is a little bit of a challenge. And the reason is in the rear, there's actually about a 1/2 inch of sheet metal, almost 3/4 of an inch, that kind of gets in the way. So you have to kind of work around that. So what I did is I compiled a list of all the other rims and their offsets, and then I used the stock wheels as a baseline and kind of decided how far out from the stock I wanted to go. So roughly most of the front ones I found pushed them out between 20 and 30 millimeters out in the front, and in the rear somewhere between 22 and about 35 millimeters in the rear. And obviously those ones that stick them out further, like the BBS wheels, stick them out 32 millimeters further in the rear. Everybody reported that they had issues with the rear rub. So I didn't want that. So what I did is I took a lot of measurements on the car, and I came up with my own specs. So these are custom order BC forged rims, and in the front I'm running a 19-inch wheel, 8.5 inches wide, and it's an ET22 offset, and that roughly pushes the front out about 22 millimeters further than stock, and they fit perfectly. I haven't had any issues with rubbing whatsoever, and they look good in my opinion. Now in the rear, I'm running a 20-inch wheel, 11.5 inches wide, and I went with an ET33, and that pushes them out about 25 millimeters, so about 7 millimeters less than the BBS wheels that rub, and somewhere in the middle of what everybody else rubs. So that, I think, is a very, very good offset to pick for these cars. So the other thing you got to look at is your tire size. And so a lot of people get concerned over the 19s and 20s. Is that going to cause any EDIF issues or an ABS error? And the answer is no, because these wheels have the exact same ratio front to rear as the stock. So stock, it's about 6.5% difference front to rear. Well, guess what? If with a 235 in the front here and a 305 in the rear here, you get a 6.8%, so 0.3% off. In other words, every mile, that one turns 8 less revolutions than at the stock size. So it is within spec. And so that also played a role into the widths, because I had to design the rims to fit with a certain tire. I know I needed to run the 305 in the rear and keep either a 225 or 235 in the front to keep that ratio down. So that played into the role of the widths and the offsets. And anyway, that's where we end up with the current setup here. So I'm really, really excited about that. And another cool perk you may have missed earlier in the video is that these are significantly lighter than the stock. So I don't know why Ferrari went to a really heavy wheel design on the 430, but they are very, very heavy. I mean, 27 pounds and 30 pounds, and now we're down to 20 and 23 pounds front and rear. So that's a significant difference in the weight. So anyway, just let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions about these. Thanks for watching, and many more 430 videos to come. Just please do me a favor and hit that like button. Thanks, guys.